and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV, bringing to you the day's biggest news stories from India and across the world. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the latest headlines. Parliament adjourned for the day after protests on the demonetization issue. Opposition parties in the Rajya Sabha raised slogans demanding Prime Minister's presence during discussion. Lok Sabha passes taxation law's second amendment bill to make changes in the Income Tax Act and Finance Act. Bill moved by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley passed by voice vote. Encounters in Nagrota and Samba sector of Jammu and Kashmir, 6 terrorists and 7 army personnel killed. In cricket, India defeat England by 8 wickets in the third test match in Mohali, lead the 5-match series 2-0. And a death toll in crash involving Columbia airliner carrying Brazilian football team rises to 76. Officials say only 5 people survived the disaster. Well, first up, news from Parliament. Well, the stalemate between the government and the opposition over demonetization prevailed in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. The opposition insisted on Prime Minister's presence while the government pressed for immediate discussion. The logjam wasted the proceedings of the House for the 9th day in a row.
The impasse over the demonetization is far from over. In the upper house, the opposition on Tuesday tried to mount pressure on the government, accusing it of displaying blatant insensitivity to the miseries of a common man. Various parties slammed the government for allegedly adopting a dictatorial stance.
कुमारी मायावती जी,
माननीय सभापति जी, हम ये चाहते हैं कि सरकार की ओर से, क्योंकि जो नोटबंदी पर जो चर्चा हो रही थी वो अभी पूरे जिस चर्चा पर बहस हो रही थी, तो जो चर्चा हो रही थी अभी तक वो पूरी नहीं हुई है।
और चर्चा शुरू करो,
प्रधानमंत्री जी को
चर्चा शुरू करो।
चाहिए।
सर, संपूर्ण सदन चाहता है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी सदन में आए।
ओके।
प्रधानमंत्री जी को
आई एम सॉरी
के अंतर्गत सदन में आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं।
I know there is no point in my shout.
The government was quick to refute all the claims of the opposition while criticizing it for repeatedly disrupting proceedings of the House.
I tell you,
Has anyone replied? They don't want the truth to come out. They are worried. Their band was a fraud yesterday. Their Akros also became a fraud. Akros and band became a fraud. They are divided. They are divided, sir. They are divided.
The chair sought to pacify the protesting members while appealing to members to allow the House to function.
now I am requesting the honorable members to go back to your seat, start the discussion. We can have discussion. Finance Minister is already there. It is already said that PM will come and intervene. What more you want? Actually, you don't want discussion.
The standoff, however, persisted. Amid sharp verbal duels between the BJP and the Congress, Zero Hour and Question Hour were paralysed. The Congress, BSP and TMC members moved to the well protesting against demonetization and demanding Prime Minister's presence. Even the BJP members moved to the aisles and raised slogans against the opposition. Even in the post-lunch session, the protests remained unabated.
What happened?
With no visible signs of a respite, the chair adjourned the House till Wednesday. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
On Wednesday, 30th December.
Well, protests against demonetization continue both inside and outside Parliament. Well, a day after observing the Jan Akrosh Divas against the move, opposition parties held protest marches and rallies across the different cities today. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also joined hands with the Samajwadi Party in intensifying her attack against the centre.
Protests against demonetization continued on Tuesday, a day after the opposition parties observed the Jan Akrosh Divas across the country. State units of the Congress party held rallies and protest marches in different cities, raising slogans against the centre.
पूरे हिंदुस्तान में, शहरों में और इस देश के गांवों में लोग परेशान हैं, इसलिए कि इस देश में आम आदमी उसका व्यवहार यही 500 और 1000 के नोट से होता है।
आज तो ऐसा लगता है कि देश के अंदर इमरजेंसी है, लोगों की आवाज को दबा दिया है। 5-5 दिन लाइन में खड़े रहने के बाद में भी पैसा नहीं मिला है।
The left parties also intensified protests in parts of Tamil Nadu, while the CPIM state unit in Himachal Pradesh took out a rally in Shimla.
आप पूछो किसी भी सेब वाले को, आड़ती आज मुकर गया है पैसे देने से, कहता है पैसा ही नहीं है। सेब ले लिया आड़ती ने, लेकिन दे नहीं रहा है। कीनू हमारे पूरे निचले हिमाचल में पैदा होता, एक भी खरीदार नहीं है कीनू के लिए, एक भी खरीदार नहीं है।
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee moved her protest to Lucknow, stepping up attack on the centre along with her UP counterpart Akhilesh Yadav.
देश देखो आजादी का बाद आगे बढ़ रहे थे, आज देश कहाँ जा रहा है? मार्केट बंद, दुकान बंद, किसान का खेती बंद, माँ बहन का घर में जो लक्ष्मी कहते हैं हमारा माँ बहन को, उसको भी धमक देता है, उसको भी चमकाता है, उसको भी कहता है हम देख लेंगे। कितना लोगों को देख लेंगे? कोई अगर बोलते हैं तो उसको बोलता है एजेंसी लगा देंगे।
While the cash supply situation improved significantly in metros and big cities, common people complain that banks are still struggling to dispense cash. The opposition protests and shutdown have also added to their problems.
ये हर एक को हर बैंक में धक्के खा रहा, वहाँ से यहाँ लाइन लग रहा, फिर यहाँ खत्म हो गया, दूसरी जगह जा रहा, तो कोई तरीका थोड़ा ही है।
Thing is, it is my money. If I am not able to get that money for the marriage of my ward, then what is the use? Anyhow, it is a welcome step. You will get some black money.
Meanwhile, the RBI relaxed withdrawal norms further to prevent hoarding of valid currency notes and increase their circulation. Retailers like malls and shop owners have been told to deposit their daily collection with banks. They will be allowed to withdraw the deposited sum in 2,000 and 500 rupee notes, irrespective of existing withdrawal limits. In a related development, the Fitch Ratings Agency lowered India's GDP growth forecast to 6.9% in financial year 17 from 7.4% as a fallout of the demonetization exercise. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the Lok Sabha today passed the Taxation Laws, the Second Amendment Bill 2016, which amends the Income Tax Act. Now, as per the amendment, 85% tax penalty will be levied on people depositing their undisclosed wealth after 30th of December this year. The government introduced the bill as money bill to prevent it from getting blocked in the Rajya Sabha.
Amid protests over the demonetization issue, the Lok Sabha on Tuesday passed the Taxation Law Second Amendment Bill 2016 that amends the Income Tax Act and the Finance Act. The bill moved by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley was passed by voice vote. In his remarks, Jaitley said the government moved the amendments after noticing that many were still trying to convert their black money into white after demonetization. He informed the House that those who disclose black money to banks will have to pay 50% tax, including surcharge and penalty.
इसके पीछे उद्देश्य ये था कि इस देश में जो काला धन है, जो टैक्स इवेजन के लिए जिसका प्रयोग होता है और उसके साथ साथ भ्रष्टाचार में प्रयोग होता है, उस सारे काले धन को इस देश की राजनीति से, इस देश के आर्थिक जीवन से अलग किया जाए.
Opposition parties, including the Congress, Trinamool Congress and the BJD, opposed the introduction of the bill while demanding a discussion on the bill.
निश्चित रूप से डिस्कशन चलेगा और उसमें ये बिल भी डिस्कस करेंगे क्योंकि इस बिल में भी क्या है वो उसमें आएगा, दोनों मिलके करेंगे, तो इसीलिए आप अटेंडमेंट मोशन को दीजिए.
Though the bill is under consideration, it is already exposed that what is the purpose of the government. So what I would propose to consider that if this bill and this motion or the demonetization issue, if those two can be clubbed together and the discussion can start.
Through the bill, I was going through, it needs some more improvement. And there is, I think the finance minister will agree, that whatever deliberations will be done in this house will always improve the structure of the bill.
RSP leader N.K. Premachandran and Congress's K.C. Venugopal asked if the opposition suggestions for changes were sent to the president.
Well, how can a president can be given within a short span? That means that anticipating the president has been brought here controversially. Anticipating president's assent within a span of 1 hour. Is it possible, Honorable Finance Minister? Is it possible? No. Right? That means you are bulldozing an important law without any homework.
I would like to know from the Honorable Finance Minister whether the recommendation in writing has been obtained from His Excellency the President of India, so that I am getting an opportunity to move my amendments, whether it is withholding, whether it is assented or it is rejected.
The bill was later passed by a voice vote amid the uproar. With Ravindra Singh and Pranav Goswami, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi today asked BJP MPs and MLAs to submit their bank account statements for the period between 8th of November and December 31st. Now, these are to be submitted to Party Chief Amit Shah on 1st of January next year. Now, Prime Minister Modi gave the direction at the BJP Parliamentary Party meeting following opposition's allegations that the BJP tipped off its own leaders ahead of the demonetization announcement on 8th of November. The Prime Minister also responded to the charge that amendments to the Income Tax Act will help return black money into white. He said that the amended act will channel the money looted from the poor for their welfare. Now, a part of the tax collected under this scheme is to be spent on electricity, roads, toilets and education, among other welfare measures.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी ने कहा, हमारा जो काले धन के खिलाफ संघर्ष है और जो इनकम टैक्स के लिए संशोधन ला रहे हैं, वो काला धन को सफेद करने वाले काम नहीं है, लेकिन गरीब से लूटा हुआ जो पैसा है वो गरीब को वापस देने वाला, गरीब कल्याण के लिए खर्च करने वाला एक पहल है.
A tragic story coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where 7 soldiers, including 2 officers, were killed in a huge terror attack at an army base near Jammu in the town of Nagrota. Now, the attack is reminiscent of January's deadly strike on an Air Force base in Pathankot, and it comes just 2 months after 19 soldiers were killed by Pakistani terrorists at an army camp in Uri.
Heavily armed suicide attackers entered the army base in Nagrota before daybreak on Tuesday, carrying guns and grenades, and forced their way in. 3 of the reported 4 terrorists were killed. The terrorists fired indiscriminately at the officers' mess before taking positions inside the L-shaped building. 7 soldiers, including 2 officers, were also killed. Family members who were stranded inside because of the gunfire were rescued with much difficulty.
At the first light in the morning, the BSF troops made their move and with precise and stable fire neutralized the 3 militants quickly. In the exchange of fire, 1 constable, Syamlal Ahirwar, sustained a bullet injury in his wrist. Throughout the morning hours, Pakistan kept firing intermittently to provide cover to the militants. In the ensuing events, DIG BSF Jammu Sri B.S. Kasana, Inspector Sarabjit Singh of India Reserve Battalion of Jammu Kashmir Police and Constable Vaibhav of BSF sustained injuries.
The army will probe how the attackers breached the highly fortified base. The Nagrota base is one of 4 command centers in Jammu and Kashmir and home to over 1,000 officers. It is the headquarters of the Army's 16 Corps, a massive military formation that defends the borders and fights terrorists in the Greater Jammu region.
Had BSF not successfully contained and eliminated these terrorists, these militants could have caused massive damage in the mainland. It was only because of BSF multi-tiered security cover that this calamity was averted effectively. The matter is under investigation and the area is being searched and sanitized.
In another incident in Samba district of Jammu, BSF intercepted a group of terrorists, killing 3 as they attempted to cross over the international border from Pakistan into India.
आज सुबह 2 बजे के करीब यहाँ कुछ बंदों को स्पॉट किया गया, फेंस किया, लेकिन बीएसएफ के जो एक्स्ट्रा नाकाज लगे हुए थे वो उस गार्डन के अंदर थे। उन्होंने फायर किया हमारी पार्टी के ऊपर, जिनको रिटेलिएट करके न्यूट्रलाइज किया गया। अभी तक 3 मिलिटेंट जो हैं वो मारे गए हैं।
Tuesday's attacks in Jammu coincided with the new Pakistan Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa taking charge. Amid a sharp escalation in tensions between India and Pakistan, attacks and infiltration attempts by terrorists from across the border have seen a rapid spurt in recent weeks. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
More news from across the nation in Nationwide. The Election Commission asked the AAP to submit its manifestos for Punjab. The matter was raised by the Election Commission recently at a meeting with the representatives of the political parties in the poll-bound state. Last week, the Aam Aadmi Party had come up with a Dalit manifesto in Punjab. AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal has also announced that the Deputy Chief Minister of the state will be a Dalit. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar will embark on a 2-day visit to Bangladesh on Wednesday. Parrikar will call on the top leadership in Bangladesh and firm up defence cooperation initiatives ahead of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's trip to India next month. Parrikar, who will be the first Indian Defence Minister to visit Bangladesh, will call on President Abdul Hamid in Dhaka on Wednesday and also hold talks with the Security Advisor to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The army on Monday accused Pakistan of having a direct role in the mutilation of a soldier's body along the line of control in Machal sector of Kupwara district on 22nd of November. 3 soldiers were killed and the body of one of them was mutilated when infiltrators ambushed an army patrol in the Machal sector. The army said that the items recovered from the area show the markings of Pakistani Defence Force. The BJP has won 109 of the 126 seats in the Gujarat by-polls today. In Vapi Nagar Palika polls, BJP won 41 seats, while the Congress managed to win just 3. In Surat Kanakpur Kansad Nagar Palika polls, out of 28 seats, BJP emerged victorious in 27 seats and Congress barely managed to open its count. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked people for their continued trust in the BJP and its commitment to the politics of development. And Congress President Sonia Gandhi was today admitted to a hospital in Delhi following a viral infection. According to party spokesperson, Gandhi was down with viral fever and doctors advised her to be under medical supervision. She will now be discharged within 2 days and will resume her parliament duty soon. And in news tonight, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we have all the international and sports news. Stay with us.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. On to the big international story now. Well, 76 people are dead after the chartered plane they were traveling in crashed in Rio Negro in Colombia. Now, most of those killed are the members of a Brazilian soccer team. Now, there were only 5 survivors. The plane was en route from Bolivia to Medellin Airport in Colombia, where the team was due to play the Copa Americana. The plane was given a priority to land, but it did not reach the airport. 76 people are feared dead after a plane carrying a top Brazilian football team crashed on its approach to the city of Medellin in Colombia. 25 bodies have been found so far and there are 5 survivors, 3 being football players. The aircraft took off from Bolivia's Viru Viru airport at 6:18 p.m. with members of the Chapecoense football team. It lost contact with ground controllers around midnight and crashed soon after. Mendelin's mayor described it as a tragedy of huge proportions.
Y aquí lo único que hay que hacer en este momento es atender la emergencia, que es lo que estamos apoyando acá con todos los municipios vecinos, con todo el tema logístico que se necesite, personal médico de emergencia, pero hombre, es una tragedia.
Officials did not specify what happened to the plane, but satellite images show that scattered showers and thunderstorms were present in the region over the last 12 hours. Due to inclement weather, the accident site can only be accessed by land. The wounded are being transported to hospitals. Brazil President Michel Temer has offered support and sympathy to the families of those killed. He wrote on Twitter, "I express my solidarity at this sad time when dozens of Brazilian families have been affected by the tragedy."
Lo primero y la información que se ha tenido es que pueden existir algunos sobrevivientes y por eso la instrucción de los organismos de socorro, de las autoridades también locales, esa es la prioridad, salvar vidas. Y por eso es importante darle las gracias a toda la gente que está aquí apoyando.
There was no fire on impact, which has given rescuers hope that more survivors may be found. The soccer team was due to play in the final of the Copa Sudan America against the local Mendelin team. The first leg of the final of the Cup, South America's second most important club competition, was scheduled for Wednesday but has now been suspended. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. More news from across the globe in Global Buzz. Thailand has begun the process of naming Crown Prince Mahavijayalongkorn as the country's new king. Its parliament approved the sending of a formal invitation, which he has to accept before ascending to the throne. Former King Bhumibol Adulyadej died on 13th of October, plunging Thailand into mourning. Police are investigating whether an attack at Ohio State University, which left 11 injured, was an act of terror. Abdul Razak Ali Artin rammed his car into a group of pedestrians at the college and then began stabbing people before police shot him dead on Monday. South Korea's President Park Geun-hye says that she has asked Parliament to help her find a way to stand down. Park faced growing calls to resign amid an investigation into whether she allowed a longtime friend to influence political decisions for personal gain. Meanwhile, Parliament is due to discuss on Friday whether she should face impeachment. US President-elect Donald Trump has stepped up his search for a new Secretary of State with a focus on former CIA head David Petraeus. The two met at Trump Tower in Manhattan on Monday. After the meeting, Trump tweeted that he was very impressed. Once the top US military commander in Iraq and Afghanistan, Petraeus was sentenced to 2 years probation and fined $1 lakh last year for the unauthorized removal and retention of classified information. And the fall of rebel-held Eastern Aleppo would not mean the end of the fight against President Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian opposition's senior negotiator has said. George Sabra told the BBC that it would make any hope of a peace deal more difficult rather. Syrian forces backed by heavy airstrikes have seized more than a third of the rebel-held territory in the city. And on to some cricket news now. Well, India defeated England by 8 wickets in the third cricket test at Mohali to take a 2-0 lead in the 5-match series. Now, resuming their second innings at an overnight score of 78 for 4, the visitors were all out for 236 runs. Now, Joe Root and Haseeb Hameed played a defiant innings, but it was not enough. Root struck a 78 while Haseeb remained not out on 59. Now, Ravichandran Ashwin claimed 3 wickets. Mohammad Shami, Ravindra Jadeja and Jayant Yadav took 2 wickets each. The hosts then surpassed the victory target of 103 runs by making 102 for just 2 in 20.2 overs. Parthiv Patel scored an unbeaten 67. Let's get you some more sporting action in Sports Beat. 15-time world champion Pankaj Advani was defeated 2-7 against Andrew Paget of Wales to settle for a bronze medal at the World Snooker Championship in Doha. Now, Advani is the lone Indian player to compete at the World Championship levels in both billiards and snooker and be successful in all formats of both the sports. In badminton, Rio Olympic silver medalist PV Sindhu has pulled out of the Macau Open beginning today. Sindhu withdrew to prepare for next month's Dubai Super Series finals. Now, she had recently won the China Open before breaking into the top 10 of the badminton world rankings. Sindhu had finished second in Hong Kong last week. In Sindhu's absence, Saina Nehwal will be the lone Indian in the women's singles at Macau Open. Defending champion Magnus Carlsen and challenger Sergei Karjakin played to a draw on Monday in the Game 12 of the World Chess Championship in New York. The match ended in only 30 moves and 35 minutes as the players made rapid decisions. They had to play a minimum of 30 moves to satisfy the World Chess Federation's rules, which has prohibited a draw before move 30. Now, both Carlsen and Karjakin finished the 12-game series with 6 points each after 1 win apiece and 10 draws. And the International Olympic Committee called on Tokyo to keep a course for the next Summer Olympics below $20 billion as the 2020 hosts grapple with ballooning expenses. Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike ordered a review of the budget that recommended revised plans for 3 venues to trim the cost projected to hit 3 trillion yen, 4 times the estimates made when Tokyo won the rights to host. Well, that's all in this edition of news, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha TV. Thanks for watching. Good night.